Hello and welcome to this unboxing of Flames of War Enemy at the Gates command cards. This is for the mid-war. The Enemy at the Gates command cards, it's based on the Russian intelligence handbook labeled Enemy at the Gates, which is a reference not to a movie by the same name or a book by the same name, but essentially what was happening at Stalingrad when they said the enemy's at the gates. So on the back here it says you've got 44 cards. Okay, and let's go check those out. Now again, Battlefront has said you don't need to buy the cards. If you can still play Flames of War with it, but it depends on your philosophy, I guess, as far as, you know, are you a tournament player or are you looking to play casual, or there's some little neat things in there. Now, since I unwrapped it, I don't know exactly what's in the Russian command card, so I'm going through it for the first time. Okay, infantry guns. Well, yep, Russians definitely had infantry guns, and they made good use of them. Here they give you the stats for that. It's a 45mm anti-tank company for 0 points. Field is 45mm anti-tank company as an infantry gun company. The gun's characteristics become. So it's a little bit different for that. So that's interesting. Volley fire. Ooh, that sounds nasty. Kill one more. Again, bailed out tank teams in this unit may take a motivation test at the start of their shooting step. If they pass, they may shoot as normal. Ooh, wow. Yep. Up armored T-34. Yeah. So having T-34s, that would be a little bit of an upgrade. You could do that. Grave for 7 brothers. This sounds like the reference to the Lend-Lease American-built M3 Lee tank. Russians were appreciative of having extra tanks because they were losing so many, but the M3 Lee was not one that they were particularly fond of. That's why they called the grave for 7 brothers. Desperate heroism. Yep, the Russians were pretty much known for this. Discard this card to automatically pass the motivation test for a follow me movement order. Okay, local knowledge. Ooh, yeah. This unit can shoot an assault after using a crosshair movement order while moving at tactical speed. Wow. What can I say? Unkillable. So, it applies to a KV-1 tank company or a KV-1S tank company. Bailed out tank teams in this unit may take a motivation at the start of their shooting step. If they pass, they may shoot as normal. Wow. Unstoppable. Okay. Enemy infantry and gun units must re-roll successful last stand tests while within 8 inches of a tank team from this unit. Well, KV-1s were kind of massive, and there was a certain psychological element that they struck some fear and terror into some of the German troops. That is true. Now, if you've ever been to if you've ever seen a tank up close in real life, they're huge monsters. They really, really are. Fresh from the factory. Oh, there has to be the nod. During the Battle of Stalingrad, when the Germans were closing in on one of the tank manufacturing companies, they were sending out the T-34s as fast as they could make them. There was no paint job done on it. It was bare metal, and they went out. And there was a certain way to tell if that T-34 was made in the Stalingrad tractor factory. It had to do with the gun mantlet, that it was chiseled at a certain angle. So that's cool. That's not cool. 9 points. That's expensive. Blocking detachment. I've heard both sides that they existed, but I think it became popularized when you had the movie Enemy at the Gates. I'm hearing different accounts as far as how accurate is that. If any of you guys have information on it, please comment on the section below. Yeah, nasty stuff without Smirsh. Oh, wow. Again, Death to Spies. Smirsh. Although that was after the NKVD, I believe. Reconnaissance by combat. Okay. Deadeye. Alright. Revenge. Tenacity. Yep, sounds about right. Marksman. Hidden in plain sight. So you see, some of the cards are similar. Some of the cards are similar to what you have in the other command card decks, even from the North Africa theater, which, again, you can check out my other videos if you don't believe me. For Mother Russia, Zarodidu! 4 points. Captured tank, alright. Pavlov's house. Sergeant Jacob Pavlov was a guy in Stalingrad. He and some men held on to this particular place pretty much throughout the entire battle. And the Germans tried many times to kick them out. They wouldn't quit. I believe today in the city of Volgograd, which I believe they renamed it Stalingrad, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have the house there. It's still there, and it is an actual monument for it. Ferocious valor. Cut them down. Still fighting. Wow. Lucky. Okay. That can be dummy minefield. Okay. Sounds a little familiar. Maskarovka. At the start of the game, after deployment, reposition one of your opponents' ranged in markers up to 6 inches in any direction. Maskarovka has to do with deception, masking, if you will. Partisans. I think of Force 10 from Navarone with Richard Kiel as a partisan leader. Too bad he was not for the Allies. He was for the Germans. He was a Chetnik, I believe. Hero, Tankosentadniki, tank riders. Russians used them. Great escorts. Another one. Sappers. Okay. Nasty guys. Cavalry. So while they did not include things like cavalry in the Enemy at the Gates intelligence book, they are including it here in the cards. So if you do have cavalry in your forces, for all you Russian fans out there, your Cossacks, you can actually field them. Hero Cossack Regiment. Oh, nice. Cossack Regiment. Motosiklisti. Motorcycles. Cool. Scout Company. Do not underestimate the Russian Scout Company. Effectively, those guys were the forerunners of today's Spetsnaz. Hero Naval Battalion. Yes, the Russians had naval troops there on the front line. They wore their black and white striped shirts, and that's how you could tell with them. Naval Battalion. Again, Militia Battalion. Manpower shortages on the Russian front were so bad, especially at Stalingrad. What they would do, they would end up getting guys out of the factory, give them a rifle, and send them to the front lines. They gave them very basic training. They gave them some mortars, some machine guns, some rifles, and they sent them. Their job was to hold the front line against the Germans and their allies long enough for the regular Red Army units to arrive. These guys were helpful, but they're not very well motivated, and you lose 6 points in the process. NKVD Battalion, yes, definitely they were around, and they were nasty in their own way. But I don't know the difference between SMERSH and NKVD, so again, feel free to enlighten me. Captured Panzers, it did happen. Molotov cocktails. It wouldn't be a Russian unit without the capability of a Molotov cocktail. Think infantry anti-tank petrol bomb. That's all that's got to be said. Okay, Nikolai Rodionovich Andreev, a lieutenant who was awarded the Hero of the Soviet Union in November 1942 for the destruction of 27 German tanks, including 7 tanks and 2 guns on the 6th of August 1942. The unit leader rerolls all failed rolls to hit when shooting. Soviet warrior unit. I wonder what happened, if this was based off of a real character, and did he survive the war? Sometimes they did. Grigory Andreevich Kachin. Okay, tank team hit by the unit leader at a range of up to 16 inches must re-roll successful saves. Ouch. Vasily Grigorovich Zaitsev. Oh yeah, Sniper Boy. In the movie, The Enemy at the Gates, it's centered around Zaitsev, the sniper. Nasty character. And then last but not least, the soft skin transport. Again, for the Russians. Now, what was cool about that, you could use American Studebaker trucks because they did lend-lease those out to the Russians. Well, guys, it took me a while to get this out, but I did. And boy, it's just whetting my appetite to do some Stalingrad fighting. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it has benefited you guys. All in all, I think it's worth it. You take care and God bless. Oh, hit subscribe and like while you're at it. I'd appreciate it.